Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whatever it may be where you are. I woke up this morning feeling the weight of it all. I have this terrible habit. I might as well just come right out. Hi, I'm Maury, and I am an addict. I just get so sucked into social media. And YouTube has been the one that gets me the worst. I like YouTube, so I'll get on YouTube and maybe I'll Google something. Like this week, I Googled, is there a housing crisis coming? And guess what? There were 10 or 15 videos all about the coming housing crisis. So I picked one and I watched it. And guess what I got in my feed? 1,000 more about the looming housing crisis and on and on. You know how it works, but I've just recognized, and this is not the first time I've seen it. I am addicted to social media. I am like a sucker for this. And I don't think I'm the only one. Our world has been like rigged by algorithms, and I'm just sick of being a part of an algorithm. This morning I got up and I had all of that going on in the back of my head, and I sat down and I just practiced the third breath, which is compassion, kindness. And it was like, oh, yeah, me. It was like waking up. I just felt alive again just by pausing to remember, yes, we live in a dog eat dog world, but that doesn't mean I have to treat people like I'm a predator. I can choose compassion and kindness. And I guess what I'm saying is these three breaths for me have really been grounding. And I hope you're trying them. I hope you're experimenting with them. They are I think of it almost like a gold panner who goes through all this dirt and sludge and everything and comes up with these little flecks. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I've done a lot of thinking about the philosophical and, like ontological and all the big words underpinnings of why I live the way I live and do the things I do. But it really boils down to these three things, wonder, gratitude, and compassion. Today, I want to talk about gratitude. I've been thinking this week about how I've just been regarding gratitude wrong for most of my life. I think when most people think about gratitude, it's a matter of, well, let me think about some things in my life that are good or some things that I'm grateful for in this world. And of course, that is always a bit of a challenge because along with the things you're grateful for, there are also always plenty of things you're not grateful for. And so it's always a glass that is half full or half empty, right? Depending on how you're going to look at it. And so my idea of gratitude has been, you want to look at the glass half full. Don't look at the empty part, just look at the full part. When I was backpacking with Jim a few weeks ago, he brought up, I was talking to him about the virtues of gratitude and all of this, but he brought up like, yeah, but I'm not really content with my life in this current state. And there's these things that I want to achieve. There's these goals that I have, and I can see how those would make my life so much better. So does gratitude mean that you're supposed to just give up on your goals? Just be grateful for what you have. Don't try to achieve anything more. Well, that's not it. And, that just sort of left me scratching my head as that issue came up. The other side of it would be, well, what's the alternative? Are you just going to focus on all that's wrong, all that leads you to despair? In other words, like, are you going to, you got this glass, it's half full, it's half empty. Which half will you focus on? If you focus on the everything's okay, everything's wonderful, I'm grateful part, then doesn't that lead to apathy and kind of this Pollyannish way of looking at the world where everything is awesome, Lego movie. You just like gouge out one eye and only look at the world as half full. Well, it's not half full. There are problems. So, okay, flip over to the other side and look at the half empty side. Gouge out the other eye, if you will, and only look at all that's wrong. And that throws you into despair. Here's what hit me, and I love this. I think there's a lot here that I still am working to flesh out, but gratitude is not looking at the glass half full, and it sure ain't looking at the glass half empty. Gratitude is looking at the whole glass, half full and half empty, and embracing the whole thing. If you think of gratitude or the half full part as the positive polarity, the half empty part is the negative polarity. And the energy flows from those two things together. So gratitude is not just this steady state of everything's awesome, nor is it this despair of everything sucks. It's this understanding that we live in a world where things can always be better. We can always make things a little more improved. Lately, actually, one of the things that came up in our first Tuesdays with Maury group, which happened this last week, which, by the way, was amazing. There were only 4 of us, but what a great time of sharing our lives. And man, I haven't had so much fun for a long time. It felt so connected and real and together. So I really encourage you to take a look at the club thing and consider being a part of this group. So anyway, during our session, one of the things that came up was the desire for ritual and the appeal of like the Catholic Church or other institutions that, especially the Catholic Church. I mean, when it comes to ritual, the Catholics kind of win, I think, with their big, beautiful cathedrals and stained glass and candles and, like incense and all this tradition and even the dress of the clergy and the whole thing is just like oozing with cool tradition. I started thinking about the need for that. And I mean, for me, one of the, I guess, rituals that I enjoy is fountain pens, which may seem silly, but I really love the ritual of opening up my journal each morning and pulling out a fountain pen that writes just so beautifully and working on my cursive and writing, taking time in a slow, not rushed way. It's like the anti-digital. I started out talking about how frustrated I am with how the digital world just sucks me into an algorithm. Well, this is kind of an antidote, a ritual antidote that I use every morning. I mean, you can find your own, but a beautiful pen on a nice journal and just writing and, cursive, and I even use different colors to represent different things. And so anyway, I kind of have that ritual going. But another one struck me, and I have it right here, and it is the candle and just the flame. There's a lot to think about there, but I'm really thinking about candles and a flame as being another powerful ritual, specifically when it comes to gratitude. I look at, this flame burning on this wick, and I like you could think of the extinguished flame as being just despair. Or you could think of like, I don't know, some conflagration of fire or something like that. But it's what makes the flame amazing is this active burning state. It's like it's not static. Back to my glass half full, half empty. It's not like all despair. It's not like all wax, like everything is just in a steady state. It's this interchange between, taking this fullness and seeing what's empty and bringing those together in a dynamic way. And so I'm thinking of gratitude these days as my active engagement in this world with both eyes open. recognizing what's not right, what's empty, but at the same time seeing what is right and what's beautiful. But it's this coming together of those two things in an active way to reach and make things better. It's full filling. And that's, if you think of the glass, it's not half full or half empty. It's filling it full. It's the full filling that gives me this joy of being grateful, I should say, for my life. I'm grateful for my life, not because everything's awesome. I don't despise my life because everything's horrible. I recognize that every day is a mixture of the two, and I enter into that like the flame, bringing my full personality to bear on my unique circumstances to bring betterment, to bring, create a better state. Me and my Chariots of Fire. You guys probably wish I'd never seen that movie, but I always think about the contrast between Eric Liddell and Harold Abrams. Eric Liddell is the guy who's just running for the joy of running, and that to me that's gratitude. It's not passive. He's running hard. He's running fast, but out of the joy of just embracing all of life, the joy of reaching and straining and making things better. Harold Abrams, on the other hand, is also engaging in life, but he's doing it out of a sense of deficit. Things have to be made right. And there's this desperate idea that if I could just get these pieces in place, everything would be awesome. Everything would be all right. If I could just win an Olympic gold medal, then I would be validated as a person, my world would make sense, all would be well. Well, that's just not true. That is the cycle of despair and repair. So we face vanitas, we face the fact that it's always half empty. And one way of facing that is just to fall into despair and try to fix it, and then just keep doing that. And there's this desperate sense of, I can't ever get it all put in place. Or we can choose gratitude and play. And that's Eric Liddell running right out of the joy of it with gratitude, but not apathy, not a gratitude that's just giving up, but a gratitude that is an embrace of life, both parts of the glass, half full and half empty, fulfilling, right? I'm engaged. Those are thoughts on gratitude that I really want to wrestle with more. I really would love to hear your thoughts on that. In our get together last Tuesday, it was so encouraging to hear other people sharing their takes, and I learned so much. I could give you several examples, but I do want to highlight the club. It's the Facing Up Club. I am really working now, having sort of like shared what I need to share. I'm working on always refining what I'm saying it better, saying it more clearly. But what I'm realizing is like it needs to be more than just me. There are so many people who are going through this breakup with certainty and entering into this life beyond belief and trying to figure out, like, how do I navigate this? How do I find meaning? What's the point of everything? And people have different ways, and it's really encouraging and enlightening to listen to other people and see how they're navigating these waters of life beyond belief. So this is it's a commercial. I hope you will sign up for the club. I've tried to make it affordable for everyone. And again, I put this little speed bump of a payment because I do want people who are serious. I don't just want this to be sort of a free-for-all. So I hope you will be a part of that. I also will begin to share very soon some stories of other people on this podcast, which I am really excited about, interviewing some people and letting you have this window into how other people are navigating the life beyond belief. My hope is to expand this to a bunch of people who are together and enjoying that community. And that is a key word, by the way, community, because I guess when you think about, like leaving church and the things that you miss, I mean, what do you miss? Well, I miss that sense of camaraderie and friendship that I had with people. And I miss, we mentioned the ritual and sort of that sense of structure. So, really trying to find both of those things. But the Facing Up Club is a way to find that community again. So I hope you will consider that. And I hope you've enjoyed thinking a little bit about gratitude. And I also hope that you will set aside, that you will not just dissolve into the infinite abyss of the algorithm, that you will embrace your life as the unique gift that it is and enter into this day filled with gratitude. Not the gratitude of apathy, but the gratitude of engagement.